On behalf of the Putnam County Playhouse, I'd like to thank you for joining us. This is Jack Randall Earls, the man in the chair, and today we're getting to know board member Peggy McClaine. Hi, Peggy. Thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
It's nice to see you.
You too.
Let's get right into it.
Sure.
When did you first start at the Putnam County Playhouse? What was your first production, and how did you get involved in that?
Oh my God. 1964. And it was, oh, you know, that one with Nathan and Adelaide, Guys and Dolls. And I was Mimi, one of the Hotbox girls. Mm-hmm. And why was because I was in high school, and it was fun. It was a fun thing to do in the summer.
Yes, and who directed that? Somebody we both remember, but we can't think of his name now.
I was either going to be Jim Elrod, and I know Pete Hill was in the pit. So, yeah, I mean, I've slept since then.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I bet that was a great show. I've seen a photograph. Now, you have appeared in shows on stage here, but you've also directed. Do you have a preference for one activity over the other?
Well, I'll tell you. 30 years ago, performing would have been my absolute love. But now that I'm old and I like to sit down a lot, directing's better. It's really, yeah. But, I like both. You know, it's just a totally different animal.
I understand completely. Now, some of the shows you directed, you directed Into the Woods. Mm-hmm. You directed Meanwhile Back on the Couch. You directed our original production of The Nerd.
I did.
That was fun. Which was a lot of fun.
That was a fun show.
And I think that you have a lot of strengths as a director. Do you think it helps if a director has also acted on stage? Do you think it makes that person a better director?
I think you have more empathy for the actors. I do believe, yeah. And knowing that you have to be flexible and adaptable, but also structured, and know your staging so people don't get, confused where they're supposed to go. But yeah, I know.
Yeah. Peggy, what are some of your favorite shows that you've been in on stage here at Putnam County Playhouse?
One of them definitely was Don't Drink the Water.
Opposite Scott Armitage.
Yes, he was Walter, and I was Marion Hollander from New Jersey. And my favorite scene was with the straitjacket and you, Jack.
Oh my.
That had to be the most fun, hysterical. Never the same way twice, every night. But the one night that we did the crisscross, I just lost it. It was great.
Well, I know that we were bruised from rehearsing that, but we suffered for our art and our audiences, and they were with us every second. I don't know if I've heard laughter like that when I've been on stage. I wish I had, but it was a joy every night because we didn't know what was going to happen.
That's true.
That straitjacket had a mind of its own.
Yeah.
What about, let's turn that other corner back, or turn the corner back. What about shows you've directed? Do you have a favorite of one of those that you've done here?
I do. It was probably one of the most challenging, but I thought Into the Woods was one of the most exciting things I'd done, and I had the greatest cast, the most talented people. It was just a joy. A lot of hard work, and and a lot of activity. So it was fun.
Yes. Well, I remember that show. That was the first time that we. I think it's the first time we produced Sondheim, a Sondheim musical here, and so. I remember that cast so outstanding, and the music and the singing, and I also remember Judy Berry in the giant scene. When the giant came after me, she was one of the first ones to throw me to the giant, which always made me terrified, but also laughed. I don't know why the audience was glad to see me go, but it's certainly a show to be remembered. I'm glad you think fondly of that.
I do.
But I have to say that you were also an expert comedy when you directed The Nerd. Rick Steadman, Tim Tim
Dibble.
Dibble,
Yes.
Mark Bertram, Margaret Emery, Ernie Ford, Sandy Robles, and me. And every night was a joy. Every night was a joy. But you had us on our marks. You know, you let us play in rehearsal until we gave you what you wanted.
Exactly.
That was a well-directed play.
Oh, I hardly had to do a thing.
And that's
yeah.
a script I highly recommend.
I do remember the bags over the heads. Okay.
Shoes and socks.
And and everybody's like, well, how are we going to know where we're supposed to go? I said, just look at the edge of the rug.
Yes.
Just stand right there.
If you go past the edge of the rug, you could be in the audience.
Yes.
Well, on that note, do you have an amusing anecdote or backstage or on stage that you can share with us? I know there are many that we just have among ourselves.
Well, you know, that's the problem with getting older is things disappear that I know hysterically. We've had so much fun in many of the shows. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny when it happened. Mm-hmm. And we're going back to the first production I was ever in is Mimi in Guys and Dolls.
Yes.
And my line, my one and only line, was they asked me where Nathan was. Mm-hmm. And I had to say my line was, he's at the dopey crap game. For some reason, one night it came out crappy dope game. And I think I got a laugh, but I was mortified. I was just, oh my God, I'll never be again, and they'll never put me in another show.
And that sound you heard was Abe Burrows turning over.
And the French company calling me and saying,
The Samuel French.
you owe us
Yes.
many money.
Yes. It's been such a joy to talk to you, Peggy. I cannot let you go without mentioning The Prisoner of Second Avenue, which was the play that we really did together. And what you were right there supporting me every step of the way. I knew I could count on you. That is golden on stage. You said those Neil Simon lines like you were saying them for the first time. The audience loved you. I was sort of a minch.
Oh no, you were wonderful.
And when you got hit by the water and you said, where did they get the water? Where did they get the water? Because there was no water in the building. And I just had to say, people like that always have water. Peggy, it was a joy. It was one of my favorite theater memories, even though we're talking about yours. Let's close up.
Okay.
When you get to theater heaven, what do you hope the director has to say to you?
We're going to run through that one more time. To relive it would be fantastic.
Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you.
I agree with you 100%. On behalf of the Putnam County Playhouse, this is Jack Randall Earls, and we hope that we get to see you again real soon.